What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Killjoy Jake YouTube channel. You have officially entered the Kill Zone, where I'm where I'm also hosting this panel. That was a weird way to word that. With Knight from the Night Watch Zone. Knight, I'm sorry if I'm out of breath. I literally just came from the gym and I spent too much time on the treadmill. How are you this
Yeah.
evening?
Well, I'm doing a little bit better than that, but you were on the treadmill, you were working that cardio, and then you entered the kill zone and it like just totally like sucked your soul away. So I understand, bro. I
My
understand.
lungs can't take it. The Kill Zone is just, it's simply too much.
It is too much. It's always been too much. I'm telling you.
Well, it's going to be too much today, as you know, we have a little intimate discussion about our new favorite film of all time, Scream 7.
Yeah, baby.
But
Yeah,
you know,
baby.
a big thing about tonight's stream night is that we've gotten some time away from it, and so, you know, as they say, time makes the heart fonder. So today, Thursday, a week after the release, are we feeling a little better about it, or are we still pretty furious? Well,
Well, I mean, for me, I'm still kind of in the same spot I am. And I can cut it both ways. There was a part of me that started to just accept what happened. Um, and kind of let go of a little bit of the frustration and just enjoy what I saw. And I mean, overall, yes, it was fine. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not worse than Troll 2 and all that stuff, all that stuff I hear on the internet. But then hearing the whole thing about the extra ending that was presented at the test screening, that just kind of lit that thing right back up for me, you
yeah.
know? So
Mhm.
I'm still kind of stuck, in other words. I know that was a long-winded way to say it, but I'm still in the same spot pretty much that I was a week ago.
Yeah, I'm just the more things that come out about Scream 7, I think the more frustrated I become a little bit. I totally hear
Yeah.
you on that. It's a war zone though right now talking about this film. There's
Yeah.
people on people on both sides just making crazy accusations, and yeah, I guess I just kind of want to dive into it all, because even post film there's been some updates that it's like, wow, that's a head scratcher, or you know, there's been some sort of like overwhelmingly in one direction or the other reviews
Yeah.
about this film that I think I also want to get into, because I'm with you. I don't think this is the worst movie I've ever seen by
No.
by far, and we have reviewers coming out the gate saying this is a top 5 worst movie of all time, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's that bad, guys. I mean, Troll
Yeah.
2 is pretty rough.
It is. Catwoman is pretty rough. If you
Catwoman's pretty
if
bad, dude.
if you know my reference, then you know. I'm just saying, man. And some of the people that have really railed on it, and again, I totally respect everyone's opinion. Like if you truly hated it and it was the most disgusting thing you've ever watched, fine. I'm fortunate enough as a movie fan since I was a kid to have seen a lot of different movies over the years, especially since being a content creator. And I've seen a lot of really bad movies, as far as the production or what have you. Um, so for me, hearing some folks that I actually listen to or what have you really rail against it, it's kind of like, man, I mean, but again, I'm not them. So, did I have issues with the film? Yes. Was I frustrated with the film? Yes. Was it the worst thing I've ever seen? No. So that's how I look at it. Is it the worst Scream film? I haven't done my ranking yet, Jake. So that's all I'm going to say for now. It's definitely not the best, and it's not the best sequel. I can tell you that. Um, so that's kind of where I am. I try to be even keeled and fair minded, and look for the things that are not great to me, and see if there's anything that was good. And I think like we talked about on the collective, I enjoyed Ghostface in this film.
Yeah.
Before the unmasking, I thought Ghostface had some really good scenes, was shot really well, had the intensity. The kills were a little hammy. They
But
were a
they
little
were fun.
hammy, but they were fun, and I can roll with that. I can roll with that. It seemed like this ghost face was kind of a combination of 4 and 6 in a way. Some really zesty kills, but also that intensity, like burning someone alive. That's pretty bad. So like that's how I look at it. Like it had some moments that were cool. It was a Sydney centric story. It was promoted as such. That's exactly what we got. There were other things promoted that we didn't get, and I don't think they should have gone down that road per se. But we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. We we, we have lots to get into. I think with this movie, it's crazy how so many things can happen in just a week. So
Yeah.
we will definitely get to all of it. But guys, I do appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Thank you for talking Scream with us. I mean, as you guys know, super chats move to the front of the line. So we have Joan Sclafini, who's got a Garbage Pail Kids profile picture. I'm loving that, Joan.
Love that.
Nostalgic as hell. Thank you for the $2. And thank you for being a channel member. You're saying, hello, Jake. What's your favorite scary movie? I try to sound like a cool kid night, and I say The Fly from 1986. Like, I'm all sophisticated and I drink my tea with my pinky up. But you know what, dude? Like, Evil Dead 2013, that might be my favorite of all time.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great choice, man. That movie kicked so much ass. I was just so enamored with how good it is. And I'm not saying I didn't think it could be good, but I didn't know it was going to be that good. Like, it was amazing. That's a good choice, bro.
It's brutal and bloody. Knight, do you have like I know that's impossible to answer, but do you have a favorite scary movie?
Yeah, The Fly. No, I'm just
joking. Welcome to my tea party, then.
do you have any Grey Poupon? No. Although The Fly is a fave of mine. Favorite scary movie. That's tough, man. I mean, I could go the easy route and say Halloween 78 or The Fly. But I'd probably say, I don't know. I love Return of the Living Dead. I was just talking about that the other night, and someone was just talking about how much fun they had just with the characters. It's zany, it's campy, it's cheesy, but it's so cool. It's rocking. It's a signature of its time, and I love it. I love it for that. So I'll just say that, and it is one of my favorite scary movies. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but I definitely couldn't argue with myself not naming it.
But that movie has so much personality. Like, I totally understand that one being number one. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big thing about movies too. Like, you can have a movie that's like executed maybe like half as good as something else, but if it's got the right vibe, like if it's got your vibe about it, it's like I can kind of get into this maybe even a little more than that other thing. And that like that I can tell like that's Return of the Living Dead for you. That's Evil Dead 2013 for me. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love hearing everybody's favorite movies, and there's no shame in picking just one.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Joan, it's the greatest question of all time for horror fans, and I love it. Thank you for the $2. I greatly appreciate you bunches. I love this. This super chat is 1996, which is as cool as we got to have a reference in the super chat itself. Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. You're fucking killing it over here. Love this chat too. Book me a ticket on the Stoon train, because after reading what Kevin said about the Stu ending / scene, Matthew said Stu is alive and ready for Scream 8. Well, let's just get it. Night, let's stop beating around this Stu pubic bush. Let's just get right on into it.
That was great.
What do you think about what do you think about this? Like, honestly, do you think Matthew could show up in Scream 8 alive and not AI?
Well, I'll tell you this, okay? And we talked about this, after we'd all seen the film, the collective had seen the film. The door isn't closed tight. It's not closed tight. Even before hearing about, what Kevin said about the alternate cut or the alternate scene, the way they shot the ending with him being revealed alive. Part of me wonders, though, with all of the talk about Scream 7, the fans kind of being on both sides of the fence, part of me wonders, is that what's gonna help them pull the trigger, or were they really thinking of doing it anyways? Now, I'm sure at some point we'll probably get an answer to that, maybe not anytime soon, but I definitely think he can come back, and I think it would be the right move. I think it would have been the right move in this film based upon what they were doing. Okay, now I said it before. If they didn't do the AI angle and Matthew was not in this movie, okay, fine. We got a Sydney-centric story, and we're going to kind of have it enclosed that way. Personally speaking, I think it would have made a better movie. you
Yeah.
know? To me, it was either don't use the AI at all, or do use it like they did and reveal him at the end. Is to me those are the only two choices. And I honestly I would have been okay with either, even though I was really excited, to see, is he gonna come back? Is it possible? I mean, those types of things to me is what the movie going experience is all about too. Because I'm not gonna lie, I went into that theater. I'm sitting there with Coriander, and we toasted to Steven, and I was like a little kid, bro. I really was. And I do appreciate Scream 7 for giving me that, and kind of having us all be excited, because at the end of the day, it's fun for us as friends, as fans, as a community. But yeah, I was just on the edge of my seat, man. I even pulled out my phone right at the end, and I've never done that. But I was just thinking to myself, I mean, I'm being honest. I was thinking to Steve, and I'm like, if this is his reveal, I just got to capture this moment, even if it's just for me, me and maybe, you and Fate, obviously, to just kind of celebrate in a way.
Yeah.
But they chose not to go that way. So it is what it is, man.
I have two big things for that. It's funny, when I was watching this movie, I had almost the exact opposite reaction that I did when I went and saw Scream 5 for the first time. That was a
Mhm.
movie that I came out of the theater loving it. And if you go back and watch my coverage from from 2022, I was over the moon about that film. But it's funny because I started that movie, first 45 minutes into it, I'm biting my nails. I'm like, this is not very good. I'm like, oh man, I don't like any of these new characters. Where are the legacy characters? What is going on? And then finally, halfway through that film, things start to kick up into gear, at least for me.
Yeah.
When Judy dies, West Judy dies, and then Dewey's death. Like, I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm locked in. Let's go.
Right.
Had I left at 45 minutes in, I wouldn't have done that. But had I left, my review would have been totally different. And the same thing with
Mhm.
Scream 7, because the first 45 minutes of this movie is like, it's passable. Honestly, I've really thought about it, and I'm like, the first 45 minutes of this, I'd be like, had I left the theater, I'd be like, it's in the middle. I would not have come out the gate furious with this film, and I
Mhm.
think maybe I'm giving it some more points that way. Maybe I'm trying to be a little nicer towards it. The thing I still just don't care for is I don't like, again, I don't like the character introductions. I don't like the way that they treated Sydney being fooled with the AI stuff. But to your point about Stu being AI,
Mhm.
had they revealed it at the end that he wasn't actually AI the whole time, it was really him. I know some fans would turn their nose up at that. But to
Yeah.
me, it's like, that's a twist. That's,
Mhm.
telling us one thing is going on and then something else happens at the end. One of my big issues with Stu coming back was like, how would you have a murder mystery? How would you have Stu there the entire time and no one would believe he was there? This is how you do it. Everyone thinks he's AI.
Exactly. Because nobody, at least no one that I know, whether it's friends, content creators, us, no one that I knew thought he was 100% coming back. There was always that amount of, I don't know. I mean, there was hope for the Stu Truthers. There was hope, right? But I don't recall anyone that I knew of that was like, he's definitely gonna come back. It's 100%. I know it, because of the fact that it was AI, and because of the fact that it is a big hill to climb, admittedly, you know. And like I've always said, and we've talked about this for as long as we've been talking about Scream 7, which has been months and months and months and months, the whole idea of the mystery to me isn't what it used to be, partly because of social media, partly because
Yeah.
of content creators. I mean, we're literally locking and loading on every single character. We're studying them. I mean, it's almost like Vegas. We're putting odds on them. It's crazy. So, the idea of you hiding the killer in plain sight, it isn't what it used to be, because we all know the formula, and by now it's the seventh film. But what could be really cool is how we get to that moment and what happens after that moment.
Yeah.
And obviously, Stu is being paraded around in the FaceTimes throughout the movie. Sydney is going back and forth about he's got to be dead, and then thinking, well, if it is Stu, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of viewers were feeling the same way, myself included. There were points where I'm like, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. And then it was a couple times like, wow, maybe, and that's awesome. But when it's revealed that, oh, that would have been a stupid idea. How could he come back? You know what I mean? Then it was kind of like, well, damn, you know.
Dude, had the whole movie been people like saying things like that, like, "Oh, that's stupid," Stu would
Mhm.
never come back, and then he comes back, like that.
Yes.
That would have been awesome. That would have been great.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think it would have given some more weight to that scene with Sam Reckner, who's literally creating the AI Stu thing on his laptop, and it's like, to me, that's kind of the reveal of the film. That's kind of the like, oh, so yeah, obviously whoever is doing it can easily do this. If some random high school kid can do it on his laptop,
Right.
anyone can.
Right.
That was the moment where I'm like, okay, Stu's not back. Like, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
At least for me. Like, I was like, there's nothing you can do to convince me at this point that he's back. And
Mhm.
had that scene happened exactly how it did, and then he still comes back, like,
Yeah.
you would have done everything you possibly could have to have convinced me that he's not
Right.
coming back. It would have fooled me even more. That would have carried to that plot point, which doesn't really serve the story at all. It's a really meaningless red herring. You could have added that could have fueled this thing for an actually big, shocking Stu Macher reveal, which is something I
Right.
never thought I would say. But
Yeah.
they had the blueprints to do it, but
Yep.
they didn't do it. And Knight, I got to say one more thing, just real quick. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I thought Jake hated the whole Stu thing, I want to fully announce this and make sure everyone hears it. I am on the Stu train right now. Scream 7 radicalized me just like Amber. I'm pissed off. And frankly, I am on. You're never gonna hear me shut up about being on the Stu train now. He better come back for Scream 8, or I'm gonna shit in somebody's Cheerios. Knight, back to you.
I love it, man. Shout out to Steven, man. He's smiling so big, man. He's smiling so big. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. It's like it was a great way to take something that was not mysterious at all and throw the mystery in it. Because, like you said, when they showed the boyfriend doing it, I was just like, oh, dang. And that's how I was feeling. But if he had been revealed, or at least I'll meet him halfway, or at least at the end, some type of lingering thread to be like, but maybe, you know what I'm saying? And still end the movie, then that would have been passable as well. But by doing what they did and making you pretty much figure, well, there's no way they're going to bring him back if this kid can basically recreate Stu, right? By doing what they did, they banked on the two killers that they had for the reveal. And I don't look again, Ethan Embry, Anna Camp, they're fine. They're very talented. They did what they were asked to do. There were moments from both of them, even in the reveal, that I was fine with.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like and some people have said it, and again, that's fine if they believe it. I totally respect it. But it wasn't a total shit show. Because I feel like Anna Camp's reveal, halfway through her revealing the motive, I was like, ooh, so we're connected to 4. We're connected to Out of Darkness. And this could be a sympathetic ghost face. Oh my God. Talk about how you could have like really worked that into Sydney to think, oh my God, I tried to create something to empower people, to inspire people. And it was basically something that birthed an evil ghost face. You know what I'm saying? That could have been money for the end of this film, even leading into 8. It could have been a hanging thread.
Dude, I think that's what hurts or what stings the most to me about Scream 7 is that they had it all. I mean, it was right there. Had you spent a little more time on this movie, it could have been great. It has the potential. When we talk about, there's a lot of other movies we've discussed. I know what you did last summer, 2025, is The Punching Bag that sadly I just keep coming back to. This movie's not as bad as that. And truly, I don't think it is. And the number one biggest reason for that is because this movie actually had potential to be good. Like the core concept ideas here could have worked. And you're 100% right. Like Jessica's motive, where it started, that little seedling, like had you nurtured that and given it water every single day, that could have blossomed into one of the most fresh new motives in this entire franchise.
Right.
But it's clouded by bullshit. It's clouded by a bunch of other things that are just that feel forced into the story in order to, have those cameos, right? If we have AI, we can bring back anybody. Like we're hearing now that other ghost faces were asked to be a part of this movie and they declined to be a part of it. That just tells me they were going to try to get everybody in this movie. It was going to be one big Spider-Man No Way Home fuckfest, and I'm not really into that,
Yeah, exactly. And also, why? You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah.
when we first heard about this, and you guys, you can check anywhere on Jake's channel, the my channel, probably Fate's as well. I'm pretty sure because we all talked about this. We knew about the AI thing, and we talked about, okay, how will this possibly even remotely trick Sydney? Well, this is how you do it. We talked about nightmares. We talked about hallucination. We talked about, her being traumatized because maybe Mark gets killed or really hurt, or Tatum, maybe the kidnapping scene happens earlier. I even talked about maybe she gets drugged in an attack, and it's got lingering effects. I mean, some of it is pretty out there for sure, but it could have been a way that could have worked into the story as far as her believing it. By the time she gets to the end of the film and she's walking into rooms looking on a TV screen, she didn't believe that. She even calls out Mrs. Loomis, and I would do it again. Like, yeah, that was cool to say that, but what was the point?
Can I, and we're going to, guys, I appreciate all your support tonight. We are going to get to these other super chats, but I do have another thing I want to throw out there about the AI stuff. Another angle of it that could have worked, but they just decided to write this element completely out of the story, which again feels very lazy to me. The kids, right? Sydney has two little girls, and they're completely written out of the story. They're in Colorado somewhere with Mark's parents. It's like, okay, cool. To me, that felt like they're setting up the next location for Scream 8 in a way, because it's like, why bring up Colorado? You know what I mean? Ghostface in the snow, I'm already predicting it. If I make a Scream 8 video, we'll talk about it. But I don't even want to make a Scream 8 video, can I be honest? But I love this franchise. So I do, I have two dragons in me night, and both of them are fighting right now. But anyways,
Right.
I think the kids is how you could have done the AI thing so well. And hear me out on this, because AI fooling Sidney Prescott. Look, Sidney's been deceived before through insane manipulation, through like a manipulation of a killer who knows her very well. This to me, and maybe it's just because of the time, maybe like 10 years from now, this won't hit as hard. But like, I literally just had a phone call with my dad where he's like, dude, did you see that video of that monkey getting sucked up into a tornado? What's up with that? Like, and I'm like, Dad, that's not real. Like, Dad, shout out to my dad. I love him so much. But the older folks sometimes can't differentiate between reality and AI. And it's like seeing Sidney Prescott go through that. It's like I'm talking to my grandmother, and it's like, that's not real, and like, that's not what I want to see Sidney maybe that comes off as harsh. I'm sorry, but like, I'm watching this movie and that's all I can think. I'm just like, that is not how you write like a badass character like this. Like, Sidney has been characterized so well in literally every other film, and to me, they just absolutely dropped the ball here with this. This just doesn't work. And again, maybe 10 years from now, maybe AI's like lesser of a thing. Maybe it's more like incorporated into things that actually matter opposed to art. And it's not as controversial of an issue. Tapping on wood right there. But I just think right as of right now, this movie just doesn't hit. Maybe in 10 years, maybe 10 years ago, it would have hit a little harder, but just right now, this movie did not hit for me with the way it handled AI.
Yeah, it just, like I said, it could have done some really interesting things with AI as far as the commentary on it. And they could have woven it into the story much better. Like you just said, there were multiple ways they could have done that.
The kids could have been fooled. What if the kids saw a video of like their mom? Okay, what if it's like the killer pretending to be Sydney, and it's like, hey sweetie, can you unlock the door for me? And then fucking sit, and then that's how Ghostface gets in the house. That's terrifying. Like, something as simple as that, instead of writing them out of the story, which to me just feels lazy. It's like, dude, if kids are established, you got to write them into the story. And you know what? There's a lot of great horror that you can generate with little kids, dude. Evil Dead Rise did it so fucking well. Something similar to that would have been great here.
Yep, I absolutely agree. It just seems as though it felt like a tale of two movies in a way. You had part of the movie that I think tried to capture some of the old school magic, with character work and character interaction, especially Sydney and Mark and Tatum, and to a degree Gail as well. I think Gail had some good moments. But then you've got the other part of it that was just kind of just like friggin', it was just crazy with this AI thing, and the motive was kind of ham-fisted, partway through, and it just didn't add up. It just didn't add up the way that I would have wanted it to. But I mean, but now we know because again, if Stu was, and I know I keep saying this, I kind of feel bad, but in a way, I'm just happy to be able to say it. But if Stu was revealed at the end, the ending would have been better. And I think most people who had an issue with this film, if nothing else, would have had an interesting conversation to have because Matthew obviously coming back as Stu is big time, and I think it would have been that pop that they think that they were going to get out of Ethan and Anna, which they didn't. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, if it was to set up something for 8, then you already got your hooks into people for the next film. Now you've got half of the audience that's like, yeah, this was cool. And I won't say half, but whatever percentage that is. And then of course you got the people in the middle, and then you got the people that really, really were frustrated with this movie. And so now for 8, you got to figure out a way to win back over those people. There's a lot of people feeling like this film was a direct slap at the face for the OG fans. And I
Yeah.
understand that. I totally understand that.
Yeah, and Kelly's kind of hitting on that here. Thank you for being a member for 6 months, by the way, Kelly. Half a year, that means a lot. Thank you. You're saying I think they tested audiences who are too new to the franchise to understand the passion for Stu. Hashtag Stu lives. Hashtag Stu train and hashtag for Steven. I love that, Kelly. Yep. I think my big thing about this movie that like it would be one thing if they just didn't do Stu, but it's another thing to make your whole movie about Stu and then slap the people in the face who thought it was going to be Stu. Like it's just I've seen so many people who are like, Jake, that's not what this movie was trying to be. How is it not? Like, I mean, honest to God, the whole thing is about this. The whole movie is about like this movie has nothing else to offer. Like I'm being so honest right now. I've only seen it once, and this is the only Scream movie I haven't been like dying to go back to the theaters to rewatch because I just don't know what rewatchability this movie is going to have. When you go back and you watch some of the like literally all of the other Scream films, there's something placed in there about the mystery. There's a line that, watching it back again, knowing who the killers are, it recontextualizes. You're like, oh, that meant this instead of that. Maybe there's something like that in here, but I mean, from 20 minutes into this movie, I knew who at least one of the killers were. And like there's nothing like that where I'm like, I went back to 5 and like Amber and Richie have like a conversation halfway through the movie. And it's like, oh, that's way more sinister than I ever thought. And that's, I don't know, to me, that's really cool. I don't remember anything like that in this movie. I'll rewatch it if y'all really want me to, but man, there's nothing like that. The commentary is maybe another big thing too. There is no, what is the AI commentary of this film? Like genuinely, right? What is it outside of surface level? AI is bad. Yeah. What else is this? Every other Scream movie pretty much has something to say about whatever its commentary is focused on. Scream 4 is such a great example with the influencer horror. It's like, this is a person who is more obsessed with getting likes and fame than she is having her own family. So far as to kill her own mother in order to make this whole thing happen. I mean, that's fucked up. There's a lot to dive into with that. And I mean, there's an entire section of that third act of Scream 4 where Jill is just literally stabbing herself, jumping into things. The self-harm is hard to watch there. That's how committed to the bitch she is. That's downright evil. That says so much about influencer culture, and that like right at the dawn of that too. It's so ahead of its time.
Definitely.
What is ahead of its time about this movie?
Yeah, exactly. It just does not feel like they were able to match that type of energy, like you were saying. And also to your point, and I really love Anna Camp,
I do.
Of course, we tagged her right from the get-go. But even if we didn't, and this was something I said to my buddy just the other night, even if we didn't tag her right from the beginning, bro, right in the beginning of the movie, when you first met her character, it was like Sussville. It's like, bro, come on, you guys got to do better than that. Come on, and like you said, when we first meet Amber, the way that they crafted 5, and it's so funny that I'm giving all these kudos to 5. Not that I dislike 5, but I did have some issues with it. I still love it. It's still fun, but I'm giving a lot of kudos to 5 in the last week because Richie and Amber are kind of, they've got this back and forth right in the beginning in the hospital, and you really can't tell.
No.
Or at least I couldn't. Now, of course, we saw the trailers and we had our bets and odds and all that type of stuff. But if I didn't have any of that, just watching the movie point blank, they hit it pretty well for a while. Whereas with this movie, it's like, okay, how is she not a killer? Come on, you know? And yeah, okay, you have your son, which, to be fair, in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, he could be a Ghostface killer, but it was almost like he was so creepy. It's almost like, well, he can't be the killer.
Yeah.
He's trying to hide her a little bit, but she can't even be hidden because she's got sus written all over her, So they just didn't do a good job with that whatsoever.
Anna Camp's scenes are shoehorned into this movie
They
versus
are.
like the Amber thing. Like they set up from the very beginning that Tara and Amber were very close in 5. Like
Right.
just to use that as a continued, point of reference here.
Mhm.
Like that's why Amber is in the hospital. That's why Amber is so close to Tara. You can write that off. Why the fuck is Jessica always around Sydney? Why is she going to
Yeah.
like she's her neighbor? I get that. But why is she
Yeah.
at the coffee shop when she's first introduced? Hi
Yeah.
Sydney. How
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Let's get coffee and hang out together. It's like you are so suspicious. Like you might as well write killer on your forehead, dude.
Mhm.
And then the scene with her and Gail, it's like this scene does not need to happen right now.
That's
There's
right.
no unless she's the killer, this scene is pointless. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's just one of those things where I'm like, I am frustrated right now with
Yeah.
how obvious you are making this.
Yeah.
It should have been Stu, Kelly. I'm with Kelly here.
It should have been. It would have solved so much of the issues. It wouldn't have solved everything, but it would have solved a lot, and I think overall it would have had more positive favor.
And that's a great point to be made because that when honestly, as much as I am now rooting for the Stu fans, it still would have made for a nostalgia first movie. That's the
Yes.
thing. But at
Mhm.
least it would have been positive towards the fans. It would have been celebrating them by bringing one of their favorite theories to life. And that to me, you know what? I didn't realize, like, honestly, all this time trashing the Stu train, I never realized it could get worse than that. I never realized they could make a Scream movie focused on nostalgia that was just like kicking up dirt into your face. But that ending, it's left such a sour taste in my mouth. I do really love a lot of this movie, dude. Some of the kills are great. I think not all the new characters, but Joel McHale is great. You
Yep.
know, there's elements to this movie that are awesome and maybe even a little underrated, have more potential than what they were given in this film. But
True.
that ending, it's just going to be really hard for me to ever really like this film because of the way this one ends.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Paul's also hanging out with us. Thank you so much, Paul. Sorry, sorry, we're taking our time tonight. We're having way too much fun talking about this. Thank you for the $2. You're saying, hi all, got out of work early. Have you rewatched Scream 7? Knight, should I just rewatch it? Should I just bite the bullet, go to the theater, see this one again?
I mean, I think it's not a bad idea just to kind of recalibrate. I have heard a couple people that have said when they went for the second time, they appreciated it more or they saw more of the positive. I'm not gonna lie, there's a part of me that's wanting to do it. And hopefully I will. But if I don't, it's definitely gonna be something that as soon as I get a chance, physical or digital to watch, I'll be watching it and I'll want to do a watch party too, just to, have that type of environment. Because again, man, this thing, again, tale of two movies in a way.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to doing a reaction video to this movie because I feel like
Mhm.
I've watching the Scream movies, like I've always ever watched them like with people or maybe once or twice by myself. Like I'm usually like, people when I'll hang out with folks and they're like, can I watch a Scream movie with the Scream guy? And I'm like, hey, oh yeah, sure, what the fuck? And we throw it on and I talk through the whole movie. It's annoying. It's terrible. You don't want to watch Scream with me. But watching them recently on this most recent rewatch and just like with headphones on, locked in the whole time, I'm like, I'm seeing so many things I never saw from these movies, even after watching them so many times. And I have such a
Right.
bigger appreciation for 2. I have an way more bigger appreciation for Scream 4 now. I just ranked that one higher than the original, which I know, hot take.
Ooh.
I love Scream 4. I think it's a masterpiece. I'd go so
Yeah.
far as to say it's maybe close to as influential as the original, but that's a conversation for a different day. Scream 7, maybe in this setting I'll have a different take on it, but in the theater again, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's making me and I was doing it anyways just for the ramp up of 7 and also working on something. But I recently had watched Scream 5, and I kid you not, man, I was watching it and I was like, I was vibing with it a lot more than I ever had before. And then seeing 7, I was like, wow, man, 5. 5 is the shit. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, and the thing about it is, think about this, and you know, again, I'm not trying to compare movies to movies, but it's the same damn franchise. The charisma of Jack Quaid,
Yeah.
okay, Mikey Madison, like just diving into that amber. You know what I'm saying? It's like these are Ghostface killers that have a reason to be there. They were able to kind of make us think, oh, maybe not, maybe not. And the third act, I enjoy it quite a bit. I was radicalized, you know, fucking hand sanitizer. You know, it's like, I mean, it's some great stuff in there. It really, really is. Um, and it just, again, it's just a shame with this film that it wasn't able to stick the landing, because that's such a huge thing that you need to do, in my opinion, to really be at that really good level for a film. And usually Scream can at least do that to some degree.
Yeah, and I might be in the minority, but I think that most, yeah, I'm with you though. I think most of the Scream films have a pretty decent third act. You know, even if the
Yep.
reveal's not great, like the third act itself is a lot of fun.
Yep.
Like I was like the reveal happened in Scream 7 and I was checked out. You know what I mean? And a lot of
Mhm.
the other things that follow are either very campy or maybe don't look so good, or are an even bigger stretch, that were the same problems from Scream 6 but done worse. I mean,
Yeah.
Joel McHale got he got stabbed in every single part of his heart, and an entire day passes and he's still bleeding out. Everyone owes Chad an apology. Can I
You're
can I
right.
just say that? Like everyone and their mother owes Chad an apology. He
Yeah.
definitely could have lived through that if Joel could survive the whole day bleeding
Yeah.
out. My
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. As soon as they showed him, I was just like, oh man, you know, and I love the character, but I'm just saying, bro, you can't have Ghostface right on top of you with the plastic over you, encasing you like a tomb, and you're getting stabbed in the heart, and you're gonna survive 24 hours later. Come on, bro. I don't care how cool Joe McHale seemed to be in this movie. He needed to die. But it is what it is. The cat fight with Jessica and Sydney, I enjoyed, you know, most of that. Although there was a part of me that's like, as soon as Jessica ran, I was like, yes, you know, because I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just hoping for something to like take me down a road where I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And yeah, they kind of, you know, teased it out for a few minutes and it was a nice cat fight, but then, you know, Sydney just stabbed her. The devil was like, well, okay, you know, it would have been cool if she ran, and then I don't know, maybe if you know, it was a place where Sydney, I don't know, just something a little bit more, you
More,
know.
right? That's
Yeah,
I the same feeling walking out of the
yeah.
third act. I'm just like, that was it? Like
Right, right.
it
It's
felt
like
like it was like they took
oh,
off the masks, they died, and that's it. You know what I mean? It just
yes.
felt like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, yeah,
Sydney
yeah.
wins.
Yeah,
It never felt earned.
right. You know, it's like, okay, that's it. He's like, you guys are teasing the hell out of me. She ran, and I'm thinking, well, that's cool. What are we gonna do? And yeah, again, the cat fight, it was, you know, like I said, I'm down with about 90% of it. And not that I want Sydney to die or whatever, but I'm just saying Sydney just took her out and it's kind of like, oh, okay, we got two more dead ghost faces to add to the pile. It's like, what are we doing?
Ethan Embry got it the worst, dude. I mean, he kind of
I
just said his couple of
know.
lines and got shot in the face, and that was that was it. I
I
was like, what?
know.
No, I wanted so much more from him. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And so it was kind of like with Ethan, it was like, okay, you know, that's fine. You know, hearing him talk a little bit and the whole convoluted thing about Fallbrook and all that. But it's like, for why? You know, because he just gets shot. It's like, all right, you know, at least with Charlie, right? Like, first of all, Charlie took care of business in four.
Yeah.
I'm repping for Charlie like Marcus does. And then you understand why, because of the fact, the relationship he has with Jill. Plus he has such a really good presence throughout the film, you know, the film nerd, right? So his demise I'm totally down with. You know, he got his stripes. But with with Ethan's character Marco, it's just like, okay, you know, this is like a Greg situation from Scream 6. You know.
Yeah. I hate that a pile of meat in a fridge is a better surprise than any of the ghost faces in Scream set. Like that's another that was something I said to my buddy Darjan walking out of the theater. I'm just like, how was a pile of meat in a fridge a bigger surprise than this? I don't know. I'm really, again, frustrating stuff, but some good ideas. Some good ideas
Yes.
there, man.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe, and I think you said it earlier, but maybe that's a big part of the frustration too, is because they had the elements, like you said on the collective, they had all the ingredients,
Yeah.
but they just couldn't get it together to bake that cake. Instead, it was, icing on a turd.
I'm a little mean about this movie, aren't I?
Hey, man, and look, I love the passion. The one thing I can say, and I think I said it on the collective. All of us have talked about these movies, every single movie, and I think we're fair with them. Fair in the sense that we can tell you what we think and why. We can explain why. We don't just
Yes.
sit there and say, it fucking sucked. Damn it. And that's it. Like we talk about characters and moments and reasons. And so people can get a sense of why we say what we say. So when you said what you said, I was like, yeah, I
And
can't wait to hear it.
And that's another thing. I know a lot of people did really like Scream 7, and if you did, your
Yeah,
opinion is very welcome here. I just want to make that very known. I
yeah,
like to hype things up and make things silly because that's my nature. That is who I am as a person.
yeah.
Calling a movie an icing covered dog turd is is insane, and I think that's just really funny. So if you really liked the film, that's awesome. And I'm like, honestly, the main goal of this page has always been to hype up movies. And if you come out of the theater with an awesome experience, don't let some sweaty butthole on the internet with a Indiana Jones shirt that's spelled wrong. Don't let me ruin the experience for you. Okay, if you love this movie, all the power to you, my friend. That is the point of this page, is to walk out of the movie theater feeling electric. And if you had that feeling, no one should take that away from you. That's fucking awesome, baby. That's why we do
Yeah,
this. And
yeah,
that's why I'm upset, because I didn't walk away with that feeling.
yeah. But you're honest enough to let people know that and to let people know why. And I think again, that's the important thing, is that you let people know why your record is right out in front of everyone. You've championed Scream 6 more than anyone, any friend that I know of that's a content creator. So, you got the skin in the game too, and you've been talking Scream forever. So, again, opinions are valid. Some people love it and some people it's not the greatest, and then some people are super frustrated, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Everyone's valid with their opinion. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's the big thing at the end of the day. I love hearing everybody's different takes on it. That's a big thing for me. I'm not like, for me, I don't look for validation in other people's opinions. I'm looking for, what's the counterpoint? What did I miss about the film? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think we all have different personalities, and when we go to film, we're looking for things that we like in a
Yeah.
movie. But if there's something about this film that you really like, or something that spoke to you because of your personal experiences, that's what I want to hear. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
to me is what all of this is about. I'm not here to, hopefully people in the chat agree with me. I could care the fuck less about that. I want to hear what your experience with the film was and how
Mhm.
that differs from mine. That's
Yep.
that to me is why I do all this. That's why it's so important, to get everyone's perspective. So I
Mhm.
hope that this doesn't. I hope this page never becomes an echo chamber. I really want to hear different perspectives. We have people coming on the page soon who have totally different feelings than I do. We have Master Chaos, Jose Prendes, coming on the channel tomorrow, and he was a little more positive. He's like a little more 50-50 with it, based on what we've been kind of going back and forth. And I'm actually really excited to talk with him tomorrow. So please
Mhm.
stop on by for that, guys. I'm so sorry. We're getting to these super chats. We have a lot to say still about Scream. Isn't that fun? Isn't that
And
great?
and that is a good thing, right? Because there are some movies that I have frustration with, or I may not like, or whatever, and I don't want to talk about them. You know,
Yes.
I just don't. Even from franchises that I love. So the fact that we can talk about this and that we want to talk about this, I think is a good thing in and of itself. And again, this is a movie that had good elements, and
Yeah.
it had a lot of great things on the sidelines. It just didn't all come together like some folks like myself wanted, or thought it could. So again, that says something too, you know.
I think that's a big I think that's a big deal with this movie because it's a good bad movie in the sense that there's a lot to chew on and to talk about. I came out of the theater for I know what you say it with me now. I know what you did last summer, 2025, and I almost had nothing to say. I'm like, this movie was just bad. Like this movie was just downright not good, incompetent. What happened here? But this movie, I'm like, I saw the path you were trying to hit on, but you needed more time. They just needed more time to smooth some things out. Simple as that. Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. Thank you for the 5. You're saying if Stu is alive in the next one, how would you feel if Stu doesn't explain how he survived or where he's been? By the way, last super chat, I left an Easter egg, and I appreciated it a ton. That was great. I'll just say this real quick to get my thoughts out because we've hit this quite a bit. I don't even care about that anymore. I'm at the point where I want a Scream movie that celebrates the fans again. I want a Scream movie that is fun again. And if this is the way to do it, fine. Logic is out the window for me. Like there was no logic in this film. Logic out the window. I want a movie that's fun and that celebrates the fans next. My expectations for Scream used to be here. They're down here. So I need a film that's at least here. And a fun, nostalgic movie is here. You can make a Scream film that's up here. They can do it, but they choose not to. So right now I'm looking for this film, and that'll be an improvement upon where we came from.
I completely agree with you. Completely.
I know we've talked Stu quite a bit tonight, but do you have anything else to say to that? Would you want an explanation of where he was for the last 30 plus years?
I don't need it. And if that is the plan, if that's the plan for him to come back in 8, or if they choose to do it, to me, they pretty much covered a path in this film, you know, and again, a lot of people way before this were saying, oh, there's no way it wouldn't make sense. And I mean, look, we always push things to the edge of reality and logic. And this is just another example of something that can be done that way, whether it's in movies or TV, in all genres, not even just horror, So I don't need an explanation.
Hell yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you at this point. I'm sitting on the Stu train in the front row, and I'm eating the crab cakes. They're delicious. I never realized how delicious they were.
Yeah, we've got Shirley Temples and martinis and everything, man.
Come on board, everybody. Join us. Join us. That's
one
what I'll
of
say.
us. One of us.
One of us. Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. Thank you for the 5. Please be assimilated with us. We have Peyton throw $10 out there saying, look, I loved Scream 7 a lot. I'm really glad you did, Peyton. I've seen the movie almost for a 5th time tomorrow. That's crazy. We're loving that. But you're telling me that Daddy Stu was alive, but test audience members said no? I'm about to be a Ghostface. That's my motive. You can be my accomplice, Peyton, because I'm with you, dude. My God. So that's something we've kind of bounced around tonight. How do you feel about that quote from Kevin Williamson saying that they filmed an ending, they shot an ending where Stu was alive, but test audiences weren't really crazy about it?
Look, this almost makes it worse in a way, right? Because shooting it tells me that that it's a worthy idea, even if you're only 50% on board with it, right? You have a test audience. My question, and we saw it in the super chat from Kelly, and I've heard it from a lot of other people. My question with the test audience is, what is their age? If they're skewing younger, of course they're not as invested in Stu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it. It's the type of decision that, for me, I would think Kevin would have leaned away from the test audience a little bit more. If not fully, because that's a big decision. It makes the film totally different.
Yeah.
And all of the AI stuff, it has a different reflection, based upon whether he's revealed alive or not. As a really big decision. So again, it was just crazy hearing it because he was talking about the test audience thought it was unrealistic or something. It made more sense if he wasn't revealed alive or something like that was his quote. And I'm just like, okay, you're thinking that, but yet you've got this AI plot going on the whole movie, and you're really leaning on the reveal of Marco and Jessica. Ugh. I'm not a gambling man, but ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to upset a big part of your audience with not revealing Stu. So that's number 1. So number 2 is that, okay, the Marco and Jessica, they have to be really good now. They don't even just have to be good. They've got to be really good because you got
Yeah.
to overcome half of the audience that got pissed off that you didn't reveal Stu. You know what I mean? So like to me, it's like a game of averages that you have to play. And now that you make that choice based upon the test audience, to me, you're putting yourself further behind the eight ball, if that makes any sense.
100% yes. And another question I have is like, who is this movie for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if the test audience was a bunch of young people, like that to me is shooting yourself in the foot. Like this movie from the get-go was like for the older fans. Like you are bringing back Sidney Prescott, heroine of Days Past, right?
Hmm.
Let's just call it what it is. You know, Sam Carpenter for a lot of people is Scream. Sidney Prescott for some people is Scream, and that's
Right.
okay. That's totally valid opinions on either side. I think that if you're going to have a movie that is focused on Sidney Prescott, this is a movie that should be for the older crowd. So why are we focusing on
Yes.
AI, a new technology? You know what I mean? Like this
Hmm.
movie to be successful, I feel like should have just leaned completely into the older stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Made it just a simple Scream movie again, focused on Sidney Prescott with a family. And
Yeah.
they ended up complicating it way too much. And if this test audience was young, that's the wrong people to be testing it to. It should have been like, you know, the older crowd that wants to see this movie be like how it was back in the old days. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I just, the whole thing perplexes me.
It does, and you know, we know that they keep their eyes out on social media and so forth. You know, I would dare say it's got to be 50-50. You know, as far as the people that want Stu back and those that don't. But
And like it was supposed to be a thing for Scream 3, right? Like that would have
right,
that's another thing. It would have been like a satisfying thing for fans who are older and had heard about that story already. Sorry, I didn't
that's
mean to cut you
right.
off.
No, 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 no. You're right, and so I'm thinking to myself, when you do a little bit more research and you hear about the Stu Truthers and so forth, you can really feel a passion for them. You know, when I think of that, I think of Steven. You know, when Steven would talk about it, hell man, he got me to move up further into the Stu train because of that passion. But when you hear the people that were against it, it's more so that they were just against it because they didn't see how it could work. They didn't see how it could make sense and things like that. It wasn't necessarily that they were like, I hate Matthew Lillard or I hate Stu. They just didn't see how you could, you know, put all the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
Whereas in this film, they gave a reason. Now, was it the greatest thing ever? No, but it doesn't have to be if you have a kick-ass third act and reveal where he comes out of somewhere and takes off that dude. I'm telling you, my theater would have jumped up and down. I had my phone out waiting just in case, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Rule of
yeah,
cool, man. Like if you can make
yeah,
something that's really fucking cool, I can get on board with it, even if it's not perfectly sound and logic. And I think
exactly.
the other thing with that is that if you're going to make the Scream movie where the one thing you're hell bent on is doing nostalgia, that was the way to go. The
Yep,
path is still there. The
it
path is
is.
right there open for anyone to take. If you just want to make a Scream film that is all about callbacks to the original, do this movie where Stu just comes back because that would make that's a guaranteed win for an entire side of the fan base. Not everybody, of course. There's
Yeah,
no movie that's ever been made ever that is going to satisfy everybody that's looking for something from it. But
right.
it would have been a guarantee, like an entire piece of the fandom would have been jumping up and down with joy. And
Yeah,
I don't understand. It makes no sense. It's convoluted. It's contrived. It's too many things trying to smack together. Let's try to make everybody happy, and therefore making no one happy.
yeah.
Peyton, thank you for the 10. I wish we had gotten that. Maybe too much test audiences with this one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Too much testing, too much just commit to something, just make it happen. Eric has thrown 5 out there saying 85 crazy Killzone fans. We love it viewing, but only 31 likes. That ratio doesn't make sense. Let's all go hit that like button, baby. Or I'll keep shaking violently. No, but we're now at 150 people, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. Still, the Scream 7 excitement and talk is still raging on a week later. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Can I just say that? That's
yeah.
awesome.
It's crazy, man. I mean, and again, there's a lot of conversation to be had, passion on both sides. And if nothing else, I love that. It still gives us a chance to embrace this franchise, embrace the other sequels. For some people, sequels that they weren't big on, now they are a little bit more, and vice versa. So it's still great stuff. One other thing I wanted to say to your point, too, with the whole nostalgia play with Sydney, you know, Marco reveals himself And it was almost like Nev had this look, who the fuck are you? You know, like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
And it's, and a lot of people, I heard people in the theater like, you know, and they're trying to piece it together too. And it's like this whole thing was bringing it back to Sydney, Sydney centric. Her daughter's involved. That's a whole nother reason why this whole Stu angle would have worked if they fully committed. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
who better to really get this thing going with Sid now that she's, you know, got a full-fledged family, and nothing is more important than the safety of her family. So again, I just think it was a big fumble. And again, it's just so crazy to even think that the test audience result was like, okay, well, let's cut that. They didn't like it.
It doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, at least that would have been someone we knew. At least that would have been like, okay, you know, Matthew Lillard would have been able to actually shine there, opposed to making him hang up on FaceTime calls like that. That's the goof. That's the silliest thing I've ever seen in a movie. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. Again, I didn't like the movie, but not top 10 worst movie I've ever seen in my life. That was another thing I want to hit on, but I do want to get through these super chats. Erica, thank you so much for throwing Erica super chats like all the time just to tell people to like the stream. You are way too kind for that. Thank you. You do not have to do that. Thank you for modding. Just thank you for being with us. Thanks for hopping in the kill zone, even though it is sweaty and scary tonight. Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface, throwing 5 out there saying, would it have made sense if the drama teacher was the one behind the deep fakes because he's an actor? You know, like, who?
Right?
I love that he showed up at the crime scene later on. Like, what was the point of that? What was up with this character, Knight? What were your thoughts on Tim Simmons?
Yeah, Simmons. Yeah, he sucked. he sucked, man. I mean, again, you know, you look at David Warner in 3, like, you know, he has his just little moment helping Sydney, you know, with the play and so forth. And he rocked. You know why? Because he's David Warner. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, yeah.
Like, it's a tale of two different, type of characters. One that works and one that was just cringe. I mean, it really was. Anyone, I would say to anyone, go back to Scream 3 and watch, you know, the great David Warner playing, basically the same type of role. But did it better and popped better. You know, this guy, he was just so cringy, especially when he was like, I thought I'd expect more from the daughter of Sidney Prescott. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
I know. Like, dude, you're such a dick for no reason. And what's the, like, what's up with the side character? Like, dude, a character like that in a previous Scream movie would have been played by, you know, like a character actor like that, or a Carrie Fisher, for instance, from Scream 3. What happened to that? Like, you know how many old guys that could have done that role? Like, could you imagine? And I don't think there's not a universe parallel to ours where this actually happened, but could you imagine if like a David Cronenberg was in there playing that role? Like, that would have been so cool. And it would be like, oh, no way, that's the fucking David Cronenberg, bro. You know what I mean? Like, just like an old dude like that who has a little bit part in this. That would have made like that scene pop so much more. And you know what? He could have said whatever the fuck he wanted, and I would have been on board with it.
That's right. That's right. You know, having that gravitas from, you know, older actors, seasoned actors. I mean, they did it in every other film, really, you know, at least to some degree. I mean, and that would have been cool. You know, Henry Winkler, you know, David Warner, Carrie Fisher. It's like Mary McDonnell from Battlestar Galactica and 4 as Jill's mother. It's like these, and even Anthony Anderson, you know, Bruce Willis. You know, I mean, but you know, hey, it's okay. It's better than this drama teacher, that's for sure. But you're right. Having some actors with a little bit of sizzle, even in small bit roles, would have been something to help it, you know.
And I think the reason I'm saying that too is because they were clearly trying to do something like that scene from 2. You know what I mean? But it doesn't work because, and this guy, like Tim Simmons or whatever, like he's a funny comedic actor. He's in Megan. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he's got like, yeah, he's got some, like, I've seen him in funny roles. Like, nothing wrong with this dude. I just like,
no
for this
to him.
Yeah, no, it's no disrespect to him. It's just, had you gotten a guy who had that gravitas, like you were
Yeah.
talking about, or somebody who had that weight where it's like, oh man, the dude comes on screen instantly recognizable. This could have worked.
Yeah.
There's so many things like that in this movie where I'm like, all of these things could have worked had you just done them a little differently or thought a little more about them for like literally more than 2 seconds. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's my problem. The drama teacher, though, I don't know. He did nothing for me. Not even half a guy down there. That's all I'll say. Don't kill, don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. Thank you for the 5. Jay Tinzel is saying, which movie is better, Scream 7 or Terrifier 3? 11:14 is better. Jay Tinzel, it's been real quick. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I haven't heard 11:14 from you in a long time. I'm glad you're okay. I was worried about you. And I just, Knight, if you don't know, this is the gentleman who actually sent me the film 11:14 because he's like, you need to fucking see it.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's pretty good. It's like you got to see it. I'd recommend it. It's actually a really solid film.
Okay.
I'll throw this to you: Scream 7 or Terrifier 3? Thoughts?
Bro, is this a real question? It's Terrifier 3.
It's literally Terrifier 3, and I don't think I have to explain that. Like, there's no question at all. Jay Tinzel, thank you for the 2. I appreciate it. Jones Sclafani is also throwing another 5 out there. Thank you. Jake, there's a leaked clip I saw last week of Sid killing Stu. Could that be from our alt ending? Okay, wait, that actually lends itself to a good question, Knight. Had Stu come back, would you have wanted to see him die at Sydney's hand?
No, I think that what they should have done, is have him revealed in some way, somehow. He pulls what Jessica did, get the fuck out of there, and don't fight, and then it leads into 8. I that's what I would have wanted. Now, if for some reason the plan was he comes back and he's got to die, I mean, obviously Sydney is the one that would have to do it. I wouldn't have wanted Tatum to shoot him, but I think that would have been short-sighted too. Although it still would have made this movie better, even if he was revealed and died at the end. That would have made this movie better, in my opinion, because you just would have had that pop at the end, and it would have made all the AI stuff work. So yeah,
I could have seen that. That could have been fun. Again, you're gonna do the nostalgia thing. The Stu would have been perfect at the end here, opposed to those silly phone calls the entire time. I don't know. You had Matthew Lillard. You might as well have just done it. I don't. At that point, like, fuck it. I don't care if it doesn't make sense at this point. He's in the movie, man. I mean, he's in the damn movie. Would you rather him be AI Stu or real life? For me, it's like, fuck it. Just have him be real. Joan, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. I think this would have been cool, although I'm kind of with Knight. A 2-parter for like the big bad ghost face here. That could have been fun. A little Deathly Hallows action or something, a 2-part finale. I could get into that. Thank you for the 5, though. Peyton's throwing another 5 out there saying, TBH, my second viewing a Scream 7 made Scream 7, sorry. Made Scream 7 my 4th to 3rd favorite movie, just of all time. 3rd favorite movie, or just in the franchise. So yes, I recommend y'all should go see it again. It's that kind of movie. Okay. You know what? I will definitely go check it out. Knight, have you seen it more than once?
No. I mean, I'm really thinking about doing it just so I can absorb it more. And like I said, maybe I might
see it one more time in theaters, and who knows? Maybe things change. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go into it like knowing everything, so I can kind of hone in on certain lines and whatnot. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if anything changes, Peyton. But thank you for the 5. I'll report back very soon. New Jersey, Jen is with us. What's up, Jen? How you doing? Thank you for the 2. I want to be the one to reach the goal. Thank you. We got our super chat goal tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Y'all rock. So much love to you all. Thank you, Jen. Really appreciate you bunches. We have Warren Johns here saying, have you considered that you are too hard on this film? Well, you and many others would say so in the chat. I don't know. I mean, Knight, should I just shut my mouth and eat some popcorn and just enjoy this movie, turn my brain off? What do you think?
No, man, you gotta look. Listen, even before we, became part of the collective, before we, became friends, and I would watch you, I always wanted to hear what you thought, and you always gave it straight. And that's what I like. I don't want it to be sugar coated, even if it's a movie that I like. I mean, our good friend, we know Fate really loves Halloween Kills, but he tells people he hates it. but I want to hear him talk about why he hates it, because
Yeah.
I have fun with it and love it, and I love those conversations. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Um, and again, Scream is one of the legacy franchises. It's one of our favorite franchises of all time. So, we definitely have put the time in, to enjoy it, to put the light on it, to revel in its greatness and so forth. But we got to call a spade if we feel that way.
Yeah, I think it's important to stand your ground and have confidence. You know what I mean? I think, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to be too hard on that or something. But then I'm like, no, you just got to be straight up. You just got to be honest with how you feel about things. And well, you never know what you're going to get back from millions of commenters on the internet. Sometimes a lot of crap, but that's just how it goes. I think that's the only way that you can learn is to, see it from somebody else's perspective. So
Yeah.
I have my perspective, you have yours, and that's a wonderful thing, is what it is. You know what I mean? I think that's a great thing that maybe we see this movie from two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
But Warren, I do really appreciate the $2. Thank you for supporting the page. It does mean a lot. We got Davey Deathray here, who's been a member for a whole damn year. Davey, I love you, my friend. And this theory is crazy. You're saying, calling it right now, Scream 8 is bringing in Christina Carpenter / Hank Loomis as the ghost faces. It does lend itself to a pretty interesting question, though, Knight. Do you think that Scream 8 is going all in on the nostalgia again? Like, do you think anything changes moving into 8 now that 7 has been such a massive success?
Well, business logic says they're going to just kind of keep going down this route. The biggest opening weekend domestically. We'll see how things even out over the next 2 weeks. But, it's successful. It's already successful. So I don't think they're going to really change much, which is kind of unfortunate. All I can do is hope that they're kind of keeping their eyes and ears open online, especially for, those channels and outlets and places where there's a lot of passion, and just hear people out, And again, Kevin wasn't able to do as much with this film as we had all hoped. From what I understand, the AI angle was not him. The third act was not him. He focused a lot on, Sydney and Tatum, the interactions with the family and things like that. Gail. So, he wasn't, at 50% co-writer, like we were all hopeful, or more hopeful, So if he comes back for 8, hopefully he can learn from the things that didn't pan out so well. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I hope so too. I don't see anyone else writing and directing at this point. Like, I really think if Scream 8 happens, it's going to be Kevin Williamson completely. Like, I think it's just going to be him. I think big reason for that is I just think this movie has struck up so much controversy. I don't know if anyone else wants to touch it. I don't know if anyone else wants to be a part of it, or they're going to get sucked into the Scream zone. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of I don't want to say, but I've heard a director say almost exactly that, and I won't name drop this person, but I have heard this from people in the industry. So I just think it's likely 99% it's probably going to be Kevin Williamson who is writing and directing this next feature. I don't think anyone else is going to want to do it at this point. So it calls into question what's going to change. Is it just going to be this? Is it going to be Scream 7 again? I think probably yes. That would be my guess as of right now, even though I really, 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 really hope, wishing on my luckiest star night, that it's anything else.
Right? That's right.
So the Christina Carpenter Hank Loomis reveal is imminent. Davey, thank you so much for being a member for a whole damn year. You're way too kind. Jen is throwing $10 out there saying, I saw Scream 7 last Thursday, but with everything I'm hearing online, I feel I need to go see it again. Jen, I'll just say real quick, like we were saying earlier, stand your ground. You know what I mean? If you're seeing some new perspectives, though, and you're like, well, maybe I'm thinking about it this way, whatever, and then seeing it again, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel a certain way about the movie, make your voice heard. You know what I mean? Knight, how do you feel about this?
No, I absolutely agree. And especially for so many of our friends in the community, people that have been around our channels for years. I mean, you guys all have your favorite Scream films, and this is no different. If you love it, love it. And if you don't, then that's fine too. And if you need to watch it a couple more times, like I'm that type of person as well. I do want to see it, a couple more times to kind of just let it settle. Whether or not that'll be right now or waiting until digital, we'll see. But I do feel as though seeing a film more than once gives you a wider perspective of it. So yeah, I mean, go for it, Jen. Have some fun again. I mean, I will say, my theater experience was fun, and part of that was the excitement. We had a nice crowd. The theater was pretty packed. There was a good energy in there. So, that is a win. This film making money, it overall is a win for horror.
Yeah.
The thing we hope is that we just hope that some things can be polished up a little bit better, and I would think that it could be, because again, Kevin didn't have full control over this story.
Yeah, and I called the studio into question here too. Like that's another thing. How much studio interference was going on with this movie? A lot of people are like, "Oh, Guy Busick can't write a script," and it's like, yeah, that's why they keep hiring him to write scripts. That
Right.
I don't know. To me, it's like that doesn't make sense. I really think it's that there's some studio interference with this movie. I really, really, really don't think. I think that's where you get the AI stuff, if I'm being totally honest, because like, why else is there an incessant amount of cameos all over the place in this movie? That's the studio saying you'll make more money if you got more faces in there. If you tease more people. That's why they said David Arquette's in this movie. That's why they said Scott Foley's in this movie, and then we had a surprise cameo in there too. Debbie Salt was in there, baby.
Yep.
It's all money, baby. Super Tenor's throwing $2 out there saying the movie was for me. I liked it. I'm glad. That's wonderful. I again, watching the movie, walking out of it, I'm just like, a lot of new age stuff, a lot of trying to be callback stuff. Knight, here's a question for you. Did this feel like a 90s Scream movie to you?
There were little shades of it here and there. I could tell that they wanted it to really evoke that feeling. There were moments, and some people may say it's cheap pops, whether it was the score or Red Right Hand, or little callbacks to older scenes from '96 and what have you. Sometimes it did, but not as much as I would have thought that it would have, based upon the marketing and plus knowing all the people that were going to be involved in front of and behind the camera.
It felt like a really well-made Scream fan film that I would see on YouTube, if I'm being totally honest. Like, and I don't know. To me, I feel like I've seen I don't know. I feel like I've seen something similar to that on YouTube. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I walked out of the theater watching this. It didn't feel like it just did not feel like a Scream movie to me. I think that's another big turnoff. I was really expecting 90s Scream, and it felt so modern. It felt like it was throwing out a lot of the things that make Scream scream. And just trying to do its own thing. And I don't know. That was another huge complaint I have about this movie. It just does not feel like any version of Scream. Like, it feels like its own thing. Like, it's so separate from the other 6 Scream movies in my mind. But Super Tenor, that's not the shit on you by any means. I really am glad you liked it, and I'm glad it worked for you. Let us know what you liked specifically about it, though. That's what I'm curious about. Thank you for the 2. Jen is saying, and we have fate waiting in the other thing, don't we? I'm so sorry. We have a few more super chats to get to. Fate decided, if you're watching, we apologize. We are going to get there as soon as humanly possible. We have some fun.
We're good.
We have some fun behind the scenes things to get to. Jen is saying, I really never even thought about Stu until I met Steven. Steven sparked your love for Stu. That's awesome. That's some great stuff. He sparked that in all of us, I think, in a way.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's like, I always loved the character, and I've always been a big fan of Matthew Lillard, but when you would hear Steven talk about him, that passion would just it's like when I hear you talk about VHS, it's like, it's like, bro, yeah, you're right. It's great. And I do love VHS, but I'm just saying, there's some things we all really have that extra gear that we can get into. And Steven definitely had that for Scream in general, but especially Stu.
Yeah, don't get me started on VHS. That's my, like, every year. I need that every year. Inject it into my veins. Give it to me. But I loved that about Steven. I love that he was just so passionate about it. And I mean, there were so many things you could talk with him about, but like, just if that theory got brought up, man, I mean, he just always had a smile on his face. It was a wonderful thing. Jen, thank you for the 5, and I will forever miss talking to Steven about some of his favorite theories. Warren John's throwing $2 out there saying, "Gentlemen, listen very carefully. Stu is dead." Warren Johns, I only have one thing to say to you. I didn't see no body.
Oh, there you go.
Did you see a body, Knight? I didn't see no body.
I didn't see a body, and supposedly the coroner didn't see a body either.
Where's that body?
I know, man.
I need to know. Warren, thank you for the 2. Let us know where the body is. Maybe you know. I don't know.
Right.
Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 10. Knight and Jake, what's up? What's up, my friend? If they added Stu, then they would have to explain how he's alive. They would have to do a complete rewrite, and Stu coming back is already botched. Please no more. Do you, like, you know, we've talked a lot about tonight, like why this would just be such a great rebound for Scream 8. Do you think, like, outside of Stu coming back, is there anything else that you would want to see as like a rebound to make up for 7 in the next film?
Man, you know what? I can't think of anything that would pop bigger with this particular cast and the course that they're in right now. Because obviously we have Sydney and we have Tatum, and obviously Mark, Gail's still alive, the twins are still alive. Outside of something with the Carpenter sisters, which isn't going to happen, Stu's the pop, you know?
I mean, kind of feel that, dude.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they could, you know, whatever. It could be a week later, a year later, you know, and Tatum's off, you know, adulting or trying to adult or whatever. Shit pops off and it's another rando for whatever reason or whatever. Yeah, okay. You know, I just don't think that right now in my mind with the cast we have, and I'm not saying they can't perform well. They're really good. I enjoyed, you know, all of them, but I'm just saying in the course that they're traveling right now, I just don't see something that could really rebound big other than bringing Stu back, you know.
I feel like that would make me feel more positive about 7 if they just actually did it in the next one, because you could kind of write a lot of those things that we're talking about on the stream that were, you know, that we kind of feel are missteps. You could kind of rework that. And then if 8 brings them back, it's like, okay, well, this was all kind of in a way set up to the next film. So it's like, I can forgive, I could forgive 7 for a lot if they ended up doing that. It would retroactively, I think, make this movie a lot better. So for me, you know, Hollywood Guy, you're not wrong. The logic isn't necessarily there, but Scream is about nostalgia now. You know, that's the thing. Scream is, we're doing nostalgia, and if we're gonna do nostalgia, you might as well celebrate the fans and bring back Stu. So Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 10. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Don't Kill Me, Mr. Ghostface is throwing 5 out there saying, I had an idea where they banned Ghostface costumes, so the killer locates and uses Billy and Stu's costume. I would like to see Adam Scott in a Scream movie. This is all over the place. I love it. A lot to break down there, Knight. Anything that's catching your eye?
Adam Scott, bro. It's like, yeah, I love Adam Scott. I don't know, man. Like, I guess at this point, anything, you know, that is a crazy idea is worth a shot based upon what we got with this one. And again, I think most people I've talked to and most people that have had issues with it, they talk about the third act, you know? So yeah.
Maybe we do like a Severance thing where Ghostface is like the other personality or whatever, you know, and not the other. So it's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, but futuristic. I mean, we're already utilizing AI. Fuck it. At this point, we're jumping sharks at this point with Scream movies. So if we're gonna do it, Scream 8's, Scream 8's gonna announce that it's also in the Severance universe. Let's go for it. Let's make it happen. Don't Kill Me, Mr. Ghostface. Thank you for the 5. JJ's throwing 5 out there too, saying Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven always wanted to kill Dewey, but allow Chad and Mindy to go forward to 5 films and survive over and over. Scream 8 and 9 does Sid hold Tatum as a lead back? Knight, I'll throw this to you. Let's talk about that last part right there, because that's the big thing. Does Sid hold Tatum back as a lead, do you think, in this film?
I think the way that their relationship was written to a degree, yes. You know, maybe it was also a question of, it was a very fast-paced film, which in a way was fun to watch, but it also didn't let some things breathe a little bit more. In other words, I think that Tatum Isabel was great, for what she was asked to do, and she had some great moments, some good emotion in a lot of scenes, especially when she was alone in the room and using the gun. I really felt her emotion when she was like, "I'm not like you," and I was like, "Okay, I'm feeling this." But I still think, like I was saying on Monday, they should have given her, at least a scene, if not two, but at least one scene where she just showed that oomph, that it factor, that you see from a lot of would be top tier, final girls or would be final girls. Like I said, Allison in the SUV with Michael and Sartain, she's outnumbered. She can't outdo them physically, but she used her brain. Oh, I heard him talk, and all of a sudden, Sartini's like, "What did he say?" And it's like, I was smiling when I first saw that in the theater. I was like, "All right, you are Laurie Strode's granddaughter, aren't you?"
You're so right. And whenever people are like, "Oh, that scene with Sartain sucks," I'm like, "No, but it doesn't." There's so, like, I know him putting on the mask is a little cringe, but everything else about that scene is like top shelf, baby. I'm like, this is exactly what I want from a slasher movie with a brand new character in an age old franchise. She outsmarts him. I mean, like, that's great. That's showing me you are worthy of final girl status. And Tatum, I just don't think ever really achieves that here.
Yeah, and I mean, she isn't special per se. She doesn't know how to fight or use guns or whatever like Karen does or like her grandmother does. She's right beside the boogeyman himself. I don't know if you get into a situation where you shit your pants more. Okay, she's like 2 inches away from Michael fucking Myers, but she was, and just like we saw Lori in 78 or even in H2O, she was quick. She put it together on the spot. And I love that type of showcase for a final girl or final guy, and it just shows how they can overcome the odds. I mean, that's like one of the greatest things about a character like that. And I just wish they had something similar for Tatum to have, because otherwise she was. And obviously, she's going to be in Sydney's shadow. Everyone's going to be in Sydney's shadow. She's Sydney Prescott.
Right.
But again, as we think about the future of this franchise and a would-be lead for the next film or what have you in Tatum, get me hyped, get me pumped. And I just wish they had something to do that.
I just never cared. Like, when I go to a slasher movie just in general, or just a horror movie, I want to see a final girl who's badass. Or the lead character, whoever that is, they have to be kind of badass if your movie is ultimately leading to a big triumph. And, you can't do that right away because it doesn't work. But, we talked a little bit about Dangerous Animals on the stream the other night. And that is like the movie that always comes to mind when people are like, well, what do you want from like a main character in a horror movie? Fucking that, dude. Dangerous Animals is great for a million reasons, but Zephyr in that movie, and I'm sorry I'm spoiling this for anyone who hasn't seen it. Please go watch this movie. It's so good. It's so underrated.
It is.
I mean, she's tied up at one point and she can't get out of a room. And like, in order to get out of fucking handcuffs, bites off her own fucking thumb. I'm like, my, like, it's one of those things you could never predict it would happen. Cause it's it's like, well, how's she going to get out of here? There must be something she can get in the screw or something. No, it's just bites the thing off. And it's like, let's fucking, like, I have never been more won over to a character ever.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was badass and I loved it.
It's just, man, you need something like, you don't have to go that extreme, but just point being, if your final girl is not doing anything like that, if she has no tact, or final boy even, like, I just have no interest in following a character like that through a horror story. So Tatum, man, if you're gonna have her be like the lead again in the next film, she's got to be a little more badass. We got to do something with her. I don't know, just hopefully this doesn't happen. JJ, thank you for the 5 though. Peyton is throwing 10 out there saying Scream 7 should have ended with Stu being alive, going to Colorado. Oh man. And taking Sid's kids and offing the grandparents. Jesus Christ. Am I a better writer than Guy Busick and Kevin Williamson? Would that be a good ending? That would be like, I'd be crying. I'd be leaving the theater like, oh my God, this Awful. What do you think about this for the ending to Scream 7?
It's crazy, man. But I mean, you kind of, mentioned the whole idea of the AI, working against the kids and the kids being a good source for some true horror, or at least another level of really, really great horror. I gotta admit, I was thinking to myself when they were shown, I was like, man, is something gonna happen, that's gonna target the kids or something like that? I'm not against the kids being a part of the film. I don't know if I want to see the grandparents getting offed though. Come on now.
I love the idea of like, yeah, like they're on their iPads, and like the little FaceTime call pops up and it's like, it's me, your mom, Sydney.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm at the door. Would you let me in? And it's like, what do you mean you're here? Like, we're in Colorado. It's like, oh, we came early, sweetheart. And I'd like, dude, that scene you would, because you would know, but the kids don't know, and that's fucked up.
Yes.
That something like that would have worked so well for me. I think. And calling back to Scream 3 for a minute, like it seemed like Roman was able to fool all the people around Sydney with the voice changer. Like, especially if you go back to that film, you're like, that makes sense. Fooling Sydney, you can't, like, I don't know, just focusing all of that energy on Sydney Prescott as a character outside of fooling the people around her into doing things that would go against their best nature. That's how you make something scary with this kind of idea. And I just feel like it was handled very poorly. I can't get over the, we've already made a joke about it, but my God, Stu, Matthew did his best. Matthew did his best.
He did. I mean, don't get me wrong. I smiled, when he first came on. I was like, okay, all right, this is how they're gonna do it. And hey, look, he wanted to be back in Scream, so I don't blame him one bit at all.
I'm glad he's back in Scream at the very least. Peyton, thank you for the 10 though. I love it. It's sick and twisted, baby. Giving me the Visit vibes. Mocker House, literally the Mocker House, which is apparently is being rebuilt now, like the Death Star. Thank you. That's how the next movie starts. Wait, no. Oh shit. Man. Someone at Spyglass right now is like, write that down. Oh, sorry. Mocker House is saying, crazy that the people saying it's impossible for Stu to be alive are brought into a perfect AI build of his likeness down to his present day voice and age. A teenager they believe died in the 90s. Say it louder for the people in the back, Mocker House.
I love it.
That's a little frustrating, isn't it?
It is.
No, but I do hear you on that, Mocker House. Thank you for the 10. Horror movies are silly, and let's keep horror movies a little silly because that makes them more fun. Martin Peterson. I can't fucking read. Sorry. Thank you for the 5. Lucas not seeing his mom's reveal was a major mistake. She killed him without the payoff. How do you feel about his mom basically? A mom killing her own son, and that was part of the reveal, and that also didn't really play too big of a part in the reveal. What's up with that, Knight?
I totally agree. Like when she said that, it was like, oh, that's right, yeah, he's dead, and it was kind of like, yeah, he's dead. It didn't pop as much, and I heard someone talk about Jill and her mom, but that did pop because of how Jill was revealed. Like you realize that her commitment was at 1,000%. She's kicking her own ass. So it was like a totally different thing. Whereas the way that they characterized Jessica, like I said, halfway through that reveal, I was on board, and then it just petered off the cliff and she's doing Pilates and everything. And I'm like, no, what I mean? It just didn't, personally speaking, again, the AI thing really messed up everything. But if she threw that reveal out and was more like intense, and not so much like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that also would have been a better choice too.
Yeah, I think, you simplify that motive a little more. Maybe some of these things start to work out a little bit. Yep. I'm just still scratching my head about like her whole motive was she killed her husband because he was abusive. You know what I mean? There was a reason.
Yes.
And she was also inspired because of Sydney's book, taking the kind of the wrong thing away from it. This is all good ideas, but to me, this is one of the major things that clouds it and just kind of makes her feel a little more like a hypocrite, but not in a fun way, like a lot of the other ghost faces. This is just going against the simple fact of what the baseline of her motive is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't add anything to it.
Yep.
You should make a killer a little bit of a hypocrite in terms of like, well, they're doing this awful thing, to benefit themselves, but how does it benefit the other people around them that maybe they claim to care about, right? Like, I think that makes killers interesting. But, this doesn't really add to that. This doesn't, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I'm like, your killer should be kind of fucked up and their philosophy is twisted. But this to me is just like, well, that would be an evil thing to do. So let's have her do it. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It doesn't add to the character overall.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Because even again, when the reveal was happening, it just didn't hit me, and I'm like, bro, that should hit me, but it didn't. So that just told me all I needed to know about how they characterized Jessica. And again, I love Anna Camp. I really do.
Man.
And that's another part of the frustration. I'm like, man, she's a very talented actress, and they just couldn't get her over the line with this thing, which is too bad.
Yeah, I think Anna Camp and Ethan Embry's, like, as actors, I think they could have played great ghost faces. I just don't think they were given material to really get that punch. Something I pitched Martin on another stream was, what if this kill was an accident? What if this is how you get the reveal that it's Anna Camp? Like, she accidentally stabs Lucas, just, going all over the place, stabbing Chad, stabbing Mindy, bam, oh shit, accidentally stabbed my son in the chest, you know what I mean? And kills him instantly, takes off her mask, and she's like, no, oh my God. That would have been such an insane and different kind of reveal for this franchise. You'd kind of feel bad for her initially, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. Something like that would have been cool.
You're absolutely right.
But Martin, thank you for the 5. I do really appreciate it. I know we're going long night. I'm so sorry. I hope I'm not keeping you from anything.
No. I'm good.
Okay, rock on. We only got a few more here, and then we are going to sign off for the night. But guys, thank you so much for the support. Y'all are way too kind. So much love to you all. And thank you for hopping in the kill zone with all of us.
Absolutely.
We got Silver Princess here throwing 5 out there saying, just finished recording my script for my Scream 7 rewrite. It's going up. You're rewriting Scream 7? Damn, that's some petty. That's petty, and I love it. It's going up next Friday, and I really hope you check it out. Roman is the strongest. Bye. Silver Princess.
That's awesome.
She's a legend. Silver Princess, an absolute legend. We love it. Thank you for the 5. Roman is the strongest. I'm terrified of this user, and I really appreciate the support. I can't wait to see the rewrite. Jason is throwing $2 out there saying, seeing it again Saturday for a 4th time, fight me.
There you go.
If you like it that much, Jason, that's wonderful. I love that a movie has brought you so much joy. That's what I think. So that's great. I will not be fighting you. I will be giving you a handshake via the internet. Thank you for the 2, my friend. Super Tenor's throwing 2 out there saying Jeremy Johns, or isn't it with an A, Jans? I don't know.
Yeah.
Called it Rise of Skywalker of Scream. Would you agree with that? Was it that bad?
I think no. It's not that bad in that sense. But I get what he was trying to say with that, because Rise of Skywalker, there were some logical jumps that were just like, what are you guys doing? Come on. The Emperor, what? What? No, Vader killed him, bro. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So in this sense, for Scream 7, the AI thing, connected to the 2 killers, it just didn't add up. It just didn't add up. And that's the sad part, because Scream is built on that. Right, the franchise is built on those moments. Those moments live on. I mean, we were just a couple of weeks ago talking about the best reveals in the franchise, and to think, like you said earlier in this stream, that we could get a reveal worse than Greg with his dismembered body in the fridge of Scream 6. That's crazy. So.
I will say I kind of had the same thoughts walking out of this movie that I did Rise of Skywalker. Like, I liked a few things, but I'm like, overall, that did not work. Yeah. Like, that's kind of, and I don't know. Rise of Skywalker is one of those movies where from the moment it starts, you're like, this is not going to work. Somehow Palpatine returned. What? Fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, no, he didn't. What are you guys doing?
He's dead. What are you talking about? But I get the comparisons though, because I think there are elements of that also kind of just throw out everything that made Star Wars kind of what it was. I really shouldn't be. Listen, I'm already dealing with the Scream fandom. I really shouldn't be talking about Star Wars, man.
Star Wars is gonna come for you,
Dude. Those people will eat you alive. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they will.
I would be terrified to be a Star Wars YouTuber, man. Y'all are braver than I. That's what I'll say.
So true.
Super Tenor, thank you for the 2. It wasn't that bad though. I'll say that honestly. That movie's significantly worse in very specific areas. Legendarily worse. Jen is throwing 5 out there saying, "Is there any chance that Kevin writing would Christopher Landon return to direct?" What are your thoughts on this? Just real quick, Knight.
If I was to take a bet, I would say Christopher Landon would return. I think he, and justifiably so. You know, he made a choice, and he says, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm gonna work on other films, original ideas and so forth, or anything else that he chooses to do. And I understand totally why. It's sad. It's sad how that all happened.
I think Melissa Barrera is one we talk about getting scorned quite a bit, but Christopher Landon got it bad too, dude. I mean, death threats towards his kids and all that. That's really fucked up. Yeah. I also think it lit a fire under his ass, because I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but he has been attached to so many projects since all of that happened.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's made a lot of really good stuff. Like, I mean, he kind of had a little bit of a career lull. I no disrespect towards Mr. Landon, love his stuff. But ever since that happened, I mean, he's been fucking on it. Drop was so much better than that movie ever needed to be. I don't know if you saw that or not, but wow.
Yep. Yeah, no, and he's so talented, man, and he's a really humble guy, down to earth guy. I'm rooting for him, man. I'm rooting for him. And when I heard the threats and this, I'm just like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? So I'm in his corner, bro.
That was a really rough week to call myself a Scream fan. I was pretty disappointed. But I'll say the same thing. I love Christopher Landon, and I hope that he just continues to kill it. He's an absolute king, and I love him. So whatever, if he's directing it, I'm there for it. I can't wait for Hard Eyes 2. I can't wait for he has some werewolf movie coming out. Like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go, man. That's going to be great. Jen, thank you for the 5. Sadly, I don't think this is going to happen. But maybe if we wish hard enough, it will. Peyton is throwing $2 out there saying, "My bad, guys. The grandparents live." I'm sorry. No, we're just messing with you, dude. I like that you wanted to make it so dark and twisted. And you know what? I can get into that.
Right? You're talking to fans of Terrifier, so we're good with the dark stuff,
I'm down to be upset, dude. I remember just talking to my sister after the opening to Midsummer and being like, "Well, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life." That's great,
right?
Oh man, too much fun. But Peyton, thank you for the. That movie's not fun. What am I fucking talking about? That movie's the least fun you'll ever have with a movie.
I know, right from the beginning.
Oh my god, it's so dark it'll almost make you laugh. Like you go so far down the deep end that you kind of just come all the way back around.
Right.
Peyton, thank you for the 2, though. I really appreciate you. Deep Red Mikey is saying, throwing 5 out there. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate the support. Thank you for being a member, too. I think we should all make content on Stu being dead so they stop doing this to us. Maybe if we all think he's dead in content, then they'll be like, well, now we have to bring him back to life.
Right,
maybe it'll be the opposite reaction.
Yeah. Use some psychology on them.
That's what we got to do. Let's make videos where we're like, you know what, guys? We want more of Scream 7. That's exactly what we want forever and always. Just give us that movie again and again and again. You're right, Mikey. You're onto something, dude. Thank you for the 5. Peyton is throwing 2 out there saying somehow Stu Macher returned. Wow, kind of threw that whole argument back in our faces there, didn't he, Knight?
Right. That's right. That's right. You rock, Peyton.
You rock, Peyton. We love you. Thank you for the 2. Josh Petrino, VFX artist for Terrifiers 2 and 3, and also the upcoming Ice Cream Man, is throwing $5 out there. Thank you for the support. Saying, Mod, we think Scream 8 will actually be Stu in a piggyback move off 7. I think it's been the plan all along. We don't have confirmation Stu's AI. What a wonderful note to end this stream on. Knight, do you think that this somehow could be set up for Scream 8?
I mean, again, I think that right now it's the best play I see. Again, I want to absorb more of 7, but where else could they go? where else could they go? Like story wise, for sure, but also, to kind of heal the fans, you know, because I'm telling you, and I'm a huge Stu fan myself, but I'm not as hurt as some people I've talked to or heard from, and I mean they are really hurt by it. Just the way that it happened, obviously the result, and like I said, them even literally saying it, it's stupid for him to come back, or whatever. It's like, bro, that's kind of heavy-handed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was mad coming out of the theater, but I think what elevated it for me is I talked to Eric from the Bearded Entertainment, and he's a big Stu guy, like if
Yep.
you know him. And I mean, he was, and he's been like, it's really interesting his Scream opinion. I love him so much, by the way. Love Eric to death. He is someone who like really wasn't crazy about Scream 6 and like was really frustrated with it. And we'll go back and forth on that movie. It's fun. It's great.
Hmm.
He was like more frustrated than even about that than even I was I mean, he like, I think he actually dislikes Scream 7 a little more than I do, and I can't speak for the man, but my god, I
Hmm.
mean, he was like on the phone with him. I was like, you know what, I hate this movie even more now. We were going back and forth after my first viewing, and man, I mean, he was really disappointed. He really took that personally, and I think it sucks. I think it better be this, Josh. Like, frankly, if it's not, it feels like a disservice to fans. That would just be a way to kind of, what's the line from Dumb and Dumber? You totally redeemed yourself. Like, it's like it could be that moment for the
It could.
franchise.
It really could. Like you said, it can make people look at this film a bit differently, especially if they were able to do some really smart things, and really make you say, "Oh, wait, I gotta watch 7 again to see how, certain scenes played out." And hey, I would be okay with that. I really would.
I'll
But
take
who
that as an
knows?
apology.
Yeah. Oh, I would too, for sure. For sure.
Josh, thank you for the 5. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Josh and I even had a phone call about it too. He was confused about the film too. Peyton is throwing $10 out there, and this is going to be the last one. We are going to call it after this one, ladies and gentlemen. Fate is waiting backstage for us to do something very important, and it's hopefully something you're going to see sometime soon. Peyton is throwing $10 out there, saying, "I'll say it again. They should make a Scream movie following Kirby doing FBI cases on Ghostface around the world. No new returning characters besides her. All the new cast, just brand new people. Good kills, new motives, new Ghostface." Would you want to see that for Scream 8?
Look, and I love Kirby. I really do. And I love this whole FBI thing, and I think they could do some cool shit with it. But no, I wouldn't want to see that for Scream 8, you know.
Do you think that like you want more than Kirby as like a lead? Is that kind of what's drawing you away from that?
Well, yeah, I just think that where we're at right now, it would feel like such a culture shock of sorts. You know what I mean? Like it's Kirby, it's obviously brand new cast and characters and stuff like that. I'm not saying it couldn't be good, because I love Hayden, but I just feel like for Scream 8, we gotta figure a way out of this hole. For me personally as a fan, that's what I'd want to see. Now, if you bring Kirby in and you start, setting up some seeds for some things, or even have her be, part of the investigation aspect and so forth, then I'm always down to have Kirby in a Scream movie. That's the way I would want Kirby thrown back into it.
Yeah, because I do like how in the previous movies it's kind of like they're all building off of each other, like in a mystery of types. Like like
Right.
Gail's kind of got her own thing going on. Sydney's dealing with the shit. She's kind of the
Yep.
target of this, and she doesn't know why. Dewey's eating his ice cream. But yeah, something. I like when you have characters building off of each other as a focal point of this. Just not too many, because we've gotten to a point where it's too many. But
That's right.
hopefully we can get back to that simplicity of the original Scream. But Peyton, thank you for the 10. I personally would be down for this, but I'm with Knight now. Like, I would rather them they need to do something with this story. Otherwise, this is going to be a major blemish on the franchise kind of forever. And I would hate for that
Yeah.
to be the case, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Knight, we are way over time, and I'm so sorry about that. Is there
No, no problem.
anything that you want to throw out there before we close this up?
I just, again, I love this franchise. We all are fond and have love for this franchise. And I think we'll make it through this. There were a lot of people that had issues with 3. There were a lot of people that had issues with 5 or 6. And this is no different. There are going to be people on both sides of the fence. And who knows? I mean, I might watch it again or a couple more times and, flip around. It can happen. I'm not guaranteeing it or betting on it, but I do think there were some things in this film where I was just frustrated with how it was executed. And usually the Scream films have great execution in more cases than not throughout the runtime of the particular film. And this one just had multiple places where it's like, wait a minute, what, so yeah.
I'm hoping we get back to that sometime soon for sure. Guys, we'll be live tomorrow night as well. And we'll be on Night's Page next Thursday. So stop on by. We're going to be talking. Are we going to talk? It's your pay. It's your stream. Are we going to be talking more Scream 7 or are we doing something else? What are you thinking?
We'll either be talking Scream 7 or we'll be talking about The Howling 2.
Yeah, we talked. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, we're just going to talk about The Howling 2 next week, guys. But I appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you. Like and subscribe, do all the things, and we'll be live tomorrow as well on this page. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being here. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Bye-bye.
Peace.